we're going to give it another go. Sorry about that. Bob, take two.
Yes, Emma.
Emma Goode, 24 Fingers, here with Bob Clark of Greenhouse Marketing.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We've had so much fun this morning. It's
yeah.
It'll be this evening. So.
Hilarious.
Right. I'm going to kick off with, what's your favourite word?
My favourite word is palindrome.
Go. Explain.
What palindrome is?
Yeah.
Palindrome is a word that's spelt the same backwards as it is forwards.
We knew
so,
that.
say for example, pop. That's a short one, but I'll explain why that's my favourite word a bit later on one of your other questions.
Okay. What gets you up in the morning?
Piers Morgan.
Ooh.
Not
Are we liking Piers?
Not everybody likes Piers.
He's a
I
good
think
Marmite.
he's great. I think he's comes from a fantastic. He's got fantastic journalist heritage.
Yeah.
He's been over to the States. He's done it over there, and he knows what he's talking about. And he's got a huge ego, but that's fantastic. I enjoy it, and I like the fact that he can argue a case with anybody, as he was today on transgender, and there being 100 genders. And yesterday, at the same time, he gave a very moving interview with Vinnie Jones, which reached and touched a lot of people.
Yeah, that was gentle on Twitter. So, would you honestly, truly think of social media?
I think it's fantastic because it's free, and the opportunities are just enormous. I just wish I knew how to use them a bit better, which is why I know you.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you. Kindles or books?
She's an expert.
Thank you. Kindles or books?
Books, because as you know, one of my first jobs in marketing was as advertising manager at WH Smith, and books were the biggest income for the business at that time. And so I dealt with all the book buyers and the publishers, and just got into, I'm not saying I'm a great reader because I haven't got the patience, but certainly books for me all the time.
Go here. There's nothing better than tactile feel. But you can't get it
smell.
from Kindles. Yeah, exactly. So you're in marketing. What do you think the biggest challenge is to marketing right now?
Well, as I've mentioned to you before, the internet is both the greatest opportunity and the biggest challenge. I've had so many occasions when I've quoted a job to a client, a potential client, and they said, well, I can get that cheaper online, or I can do it myself online. And one can't argue with that. You know, you can obviously make the case for the experience that goes behind what we offer, but that, from my point of view, has been the challenge for years, and it probably will remain so.
I like to back up our work with stats, and when you can clearly show stats, I think that shows expertise and it shows experience. Yeah. Rather than somebody just purely.
Well, also, I mean, we use case histories, we show previous work, and if that impresses people enough. But ultimately, it sort of comes down to budget, doesn't it? At the end of the day, and somebody with insufficient budget will always go the cheapest route.
Yeah. Peanuts, monkeys. What did you want to be when you were growing up?
I remember this clearly because I didn't want an ordinary job in life, and so when my teacher said, what do you want to be, Clark? I said, don't know, but something like a boat builder in the Caribbean, because that's, to me, sounded exotic, but I've never been to the Caribbean and I don't know how to build a boat. But,
apart from that.
Yeah, I think I've said before, my ultimate job would probably be head of sales and marketing at Lamborghini, because I'm a Lamborghini fanatic. But that's not going to happen. So
never say never.
No, well, no. I'll buy one maybe, but I won't be selling them.
Buy a keyring. What led you to?
I've got the keyring.
Oh, you got the keyring. Yeah. Buy another one. What led you to your current career?
That was basically WH Smith again, going back to where my sort of career started. I got lucky in that somebody gave me an opportunity, and it was a guy that actually remained in my life for quite some time until he passed away some years ago, and he saw something in me, and I came from having no experience. He gave me a job that was quite important in WH Smith, and just said, get on with it. And I was there for 6 years. I went through the ranks, became advertising manager. And then he moved on, and I moved with him, and then eventually I moved to the agency side, and he became my client. But he unfortunately died of heart attack, and it was tragic. But I owe a lot to that guy. His name was John Cowling.
High five, John Cowling.
Yeah.
Now, your favourite word was palindrome. Can you use it in a sentence?
You
can. You've got this. Bob.
Yeah, something like. I can always write a palindrome when I'm sitting at home.
Hey.
Not very good, but
well,
not an easy one.
And next question is, can you make it rhyme? I think you've pretty much.
I've just done that.
You've just done it. Yeah.
So, 2 in 1. Why a palindrome? Because I'm not sure if that's going to be one of your questions or not, but the reason is because anyone of a certain age will remember the sketch in Monty Python, the Dead Parrot sketch, when somebody, the guy sort of said that he said it's Ipswich is a palindrome of not lob, and he said not lob. Not lob's a palindrome of Bolton, and that's just stuck with me. And I thought I didn't know what a palindrome was until I heard that, but now it's a nice word.
That is a deceased parrot.
Yeah.
So, what advice would you?
Now to the go on, carry
on. So, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Just go for it. To be perfectly honest, I haven't been a great risk taker in life, but I've had opportunities have come and I've taken them, I suppose. I think I've always wished that I had moved abroad. I went abroad for a month when I was in my when I was 20. I went to California just to see what it was like. But it was before gap years and the rest of it. And to be perfectly honest, if I'd had the balls then, I'd have probably stayed. And by now, God knows what I'd be doing. But I've always wanted to end up living in the sunshine. So whether it was Florida or California, somewhere like that. I will advise myself to do that at an early age.
And what's the best thing anyone's ever done for you?
I'd go back to John Cowling again. This guy took a risk on me.
The early break.
We all need that in life. We need someone to give us a chance to take a risk. And had that not happened, God knows where I would have been. My first actual job was working as a trainee in NatWest Bank because my mum got fed up of me sitting around at home. I handed my notice in.
Lewis, you're not sitting at home.
No, well, my mum got fed up with me sitting home. I got the job. I handed my notice in after 2 months because they wouldn't give me Christmas off. So I was out of work, and then it all went on from there. Didn't even know advertising and marketing existed as a career because you're not taught that at school.
No, exactly. It's funny, my career kind of started the same way. I got a lucky break with a publishing company in Motford, actually just round the corner, and I got headhunted for an agency in London. And you're right. Obviously somebody saw something in you and decided to take that gamble, and I'm really appreciative of that.
Are the publishing companies in Romford?
There was, we were highly successful. I'm surprised you didn't know about us.
No.
Tell us, what's been your career defining moment so far? You might not have had it yet.
Well, maybe I've not. I mean, I've had a number of different sort of jobs within a career line that was all to do with marketing and advertising, and I suppose it sounds a bit boring, but going back to getting that first job, because I didn't know this industry existed.
You on a path, didn't it?
It set me on a path, and because basically he just said get on with it. And I learnt so much, and I found that I had a sort of skill in a particular area.
My first boss left after 6 weeks, so I had no choice but just get on to it. And actually, in hindsight, best thing that could have happened, because I'd never have got the opportunity to learn so quickly. It probably didn't feel like that at the time, but fantastic.
No, that's a good career defining. I mean, is career defining the greatest moment you've ever had in your career, or is it something that changed your direction? It could be anything like that, and that's what I always go back to and think, sliding doors. If that hadn't happened, where might I have been now?
Serendipity.
Yep.
So, if you want a big award of some kind, who would you thank?
Well, obviously, maybe family, being my mum and dad, neither of whom are around today. But when I think back and look back, I've lost both of them in perhaps the last 8 years. My dad about 2 years ago, my mum 8 years ago, and look at the values that they instilled in me, and I really appreciate that now, which perhaps I didn't at the time. So I thank them and my family, of course.
Good. Now, Bob, you're very organised. Whenever I come to Bob's office, he's all got his files neatly presented and puts me to shame. Can you give us a time?
Are you reading my answers?
No. I just knew it.
My answer to that is to-do lists. I live by to-do lists. Don't always do them, but I like listing things down and saying, well, this is what I've got to do, and this is the time scale, and sort of, I usually tick off the easy ones first, which is sort of not a bad strategy, and then work your way through a to-do list and keep adding as more to-dos come along.
One of our friends, Kathy Ennis of Little Piggy, says tomorrow. So the day isn't finished until tomorrow's planned, which is really
That's a good one.
Yeah, good one. So where do you see the marketing industry in 24 months?
Pretty much similar to where it is now. I mean, 24 months isn't that long, although obviously, as we've mentioned already, the internet is changing everything. So I'm sure there are things coming along within the next 24 months that will change marketing, but it's going to go more online, which is good for you. And it will just continue to go that way.
Okay. Now, where were you 24 months ago?
I was thinking about what I'm going to do in the next 24 months, like probably most people say to you. Yeah, because I've been running Greenhouse now for 16 years, and whilst it's great, it pays the bills, I want is a new challenge. And that's happened, and I've got a couple of things that I'm doing at the moment which I wasn't doing 24 months ago, so I suppose, that's things have changed for me, and you need that because you need to keep yourself fresh. Definitely. When you get really old, like me.
Wouldn't know. You
exactly,
wouldn't know
like
either.
I said, like me. Then you
really
need
old.
new challenges. I'm not ready. I could retire in 3 years. In fact, I've got
Don't do it.
I'm never going to retire because I got my pension statement through the post last week and says I can retire on the 24th of September 1922. No, 2022 even. And I'm not going to do it because I think the minute you do that, you're dead.
Good. What's an interesting fact about your company?
Interesting fact is, so I'm trying to think about, we're not that different from a lot of other companies, other than when I look back, we have breathed life into over 100 businesses in the time I've been working. So we've created brands, we've created logos, and we've reinvented companies that already existed. And that doesn't make us a branding agency, but it's usually the starting point for working then on other projects with clients. So I'm pretty proud of that.
Good.
High five.
Now, if you can have a 24-minute Skype chat, if anyone living or dead, who would it be?
Well, there's two people. One would be my mum, which sounds a bit corny, but as I said, my mother died 8 years ago. And unfortunately, she suffered from Alzheimer's, and she had Alzheimer's for 6 years. So I haven't had a conversation with my mum for 14 years. And the 6 years that she had Alzheimer's, I didn't really have a conversation with her then because it takes away all that side of you. And she was smiling and nodding, and that's about the best that you got. And so I miss her voice, and I've got one bit of video of her and my dad that I have on my phone, and when I listen to it, I just remember what she sounds like. But if that wasn't allowed, because it's family, then I'd have Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, because I think he was a genius, basically, and I think you could learn something from a guy like that.
Definitely. And what's one word you'd like people to describe you with?
Difficult to say one word, but I'd like to be genuine. I don't want to be a fake.
You're not.
And other words would be, the usual nice ones like kind and helpful. I try to help people. And often with clients, I do so at no charge because it's all part of the service. It's sort of but genuine is the main thing. I'm not one of these fakey type people.
No. Do you mind taking a selfie for us? We can do that.
Well, I don't ever do selfies, but
it's a whole new experience. What's your favourite social media campaign?
I don't know if it's a social media campaign as such, but one of my people I follow on Instagram is a fitness lady called Michelle Lewin. And she's 13.4 million followers, and
not too shabby.
No, not only is she very good at what she does and beautiful and the rest of it.
But apart from that, is she happy?
Yeah, well, she lives in a mansion in Miami. Her husband is
a male model.
But I like the way that they, she's minted from Instagram and her programs, and the way that she does them is not hard sell at all. And you actually like her as a person. So it's not really a campaign, but follow Michelle Lewin.
Okay. What's one quote that defines your work ethic?
Always open. I'm 24/7, so if a client wants to ring me at any time, they can ring me and I don't have to apologise. Doesn't happen often, but I never differentiate between personal life and work life. I know people sort of say, you should separate the two, but to me it's just life. And whether I'm working or whether I'm doing social stuff or at the gym or whatever, you do have to deal with the things as and when they come along.
Yep.
So open all hours.
Open all hours. Now, what's been the best part of your day?
Well, I suppose most people say being here with you.
No, never heard that before at all.
No, of course not. No, I don't know. Hopefully, obviously being here with you. Nothing's. Today's been another day. Just get up and carry on working. Hopefully, the best part is yet to come.
Yeah, exactly. No, you've had the best bit now. Finally, anything to plug?
Yeah, well, I've started another business, which is one of the things that I was looking to do 24 months ago, and I'm putting quite a lot of time into that, probably at the detriment of Greenhouse, but I've gone into business with another partner called Metallo Design, and we are importing immense sculptures, which at the moment we've only got 3 in this country. Got a website, metallodesign.co.uk.
Go and check it out.
And I'm looking for social media experts and press people who can get us exposure. You've got to see these things. The website looks great, but unless you're in the physical presence of them, you've got no idea how amazing they are. And we're targeting, I don't know, it sounds a bit immature, but young Premiership footballers have got their man cave, they've got their fleet of cars, and they want the next toy. These are awesome.
Come here.
So if you know any Premiership footballers with
this is Essex, cool.
on a couple £100,000 a week, then let me know, please.
Brilliant. That's it. Thank you.
Are we
very
done?
much, Bob. We are.
Okay, that was quicker than last time. I've bored everybody for about half an hour last time, but thank you very much.
Brilliant.
It's very, very kind of you.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Goodbye.